Thing about Hampton, the two things that concern me. One is anytime you take this amount of time off, you concern yourself with your rhythm. And it's obviously the case here. The other thing, as it relates specifically to Hampton, is one, they'll test that because they run and press and shoot a lot of threes, and they play a style that if you're not secure with what you're doing, they'll turn you over a whole lot. So that really concerns me. And the next 2 days of practice, we'll try to focus on a large part of that and getting ourselves ready. But a group of guys that new coach, obviously, they're playing a lot of young people. As I mentioned, they're getting 25, 33s up a game, and really trying to create pace in this team and within their program. And so we've got to be ready to counteract that with, again, some solidarity, limit our turnovers, and get high-quality shots. It's my thought that the most important part of preparation for another team is your own preparation. So to be good in what you do, and let that determine how well you'll play against another team. But in a lot of cases, and in this case in particular, you got to prepare for what a team will do against you, whether they press or play zone or man-to-man, or they have an intricate offense that you've got to do. So we'll spend a decent amount of time today, 2 days out, and tomorrow, especially 1 day out before the game, and looking at what they do and the particulars of what they do successfully, and then the people that they have and how we need to guard them. When you give them time off, you stand a chance of losing some basketball rhythm. But if you don't give them the time off, they won't be rested like they need to be. And so we've tried as best we can. We've talked a lot about it as a staff, and we try to balance it. And we took yesterday off, and before that, the 2 days of practice were just okay. And you could equate them to a lot of finals weeks that I've been around, and that minds aren't totally in the gym, and so I'm not surprised by it, although it doesn't please me. But hopefully today, as we get back to now talking about the specifics of a game and game preparation and those kinds of things, we can regain our focus. Most of the guys will be done with their papers or finals by today, so I'm hoping that between now and Saturday that we regain ourselves a little bit better than we are right now. It's typical sometimes, even when you have a holiday break, sometimes Christmas, and teams that play on December 22nd or 23rd, they're more thinking about Christmas than they are that game. And I've tried to avoid it by not talking about it at all. So we haven't really talked about Puerto Rico for 1 second, and won't do that hopefully until after the game on Saturday. But yet, we've still got to talk a little bit about it. Not me, but I have my assistants, because they got to pack and prepare, and what the schedule is going to be and that kind of thing. So it's my hope that we can get through Saturday unscathed and come away with a win and healthy enough so that we can start to concentrate on playing not only these 3 games in 3 days, but doing it in an environment which is a little bit more difficult because of the sunshine and all the things that brings about. Well, I'd like to get better in a number of areas, obviously, and we've come out of the gate thus far and shot the ball well. We've rebounded the ball pretty well. I think we're in the top 5 in the country and rebound margin and total rebounds. But I'd still like to defend better. I think every coach would like to at this time of the year, but I think we have to come around better on the defensive end and be able to create stops, not just get stops. And then offensively, I'd like to be a little more sharper and have better body and ball movement for more consistent times during games. They've adjusted, and they have good days and bad days, as most young guys do. Will has had 2 very good games from a point standpoint. Had some games where he looked a little lost out there, and as a result, couldn't play him with any consistency. And so we've got to continue to get him better. And Ryan, one of the new guys, has contributed, I think, more and more, giving us a feel and giving me a feel as to how I can use him because of his energy and what he brings to the table. And Jamil, probably very typical too, and a guy that's had moments, particularly in practice, and those have sometimes carried over to games, and sometimes he hadn't gotten as many minutes because doesn't have that experience that builds up the kind of trust that you can have on the floor as well. And we still got to get Solomon healthier and Jerome's time will come as well. And I like his progress, although we haven't seen it in the last 2 games on the floor. You know, you look at our schedule over the next probably month or so. We've got a challenge in front of us, obviously, with Hampton style, but it's included in having, 4 games in 6 or 7 days over the next few days before we get to the break. Out of the break, we'll play a tough team, an American that shoots the ball well. And then we get to the new year, and obviously home games against Gonzaga and Stanford, two teams that beat us last year, and that will be a challenge. Then, back into league play, and we're on the road with Carolina and Boston College back-to-back to start. So, we've got our work cut out for us, and I think that's what's been on my mind as we've looked at this finals week or every other week to get ourselves healthy and prepared and sharp and efficient if we're going to have any level of expected success throughout these next few weeks.